In a previous video, we added this function to handle the print menu, and then we added to that and actually included the choice inside the menu, and we returned that choice. So this is not really a great name anymore. It's doing more than printing the menu. So it probably should be called something like get menu choice. And so an easy way to handle that in code is go up here. We're just going to right click on the function name, and we can rename that symbol universally throughout our code. So instead of print menu, we'll change that to get menu, and let's say get menu choice. And we'll hit enter there, and notice it changed it here. It also changed it when we call it here, and also down here when we call it again. So just a quick and easy way to rename symbols in your program is using that feature. The other thing I wanted to take a look at is the variable names, because we use the name choice here, and we also use the name choice here, and these are really two different variables that are local. In this case, the choice here is local to this procedure, and this choice is, although the same name, can be confusing, but a different variable, right? This is choice in the main menu. And to demonstrate that and also demonstrate kind of how the functions work, we're going to use the debug function here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and set a breakpoint in my main function here, and I'll just set it right here at the initialization of this variable. And then we'll go ahead and debug. So I'm going to go up here, and we could hit F5, or off the menu I can click start debugging. And then this will pop up, and my indicator will say this is the next line to run. And I've got this handy menu over here that I'm going to move over right here, and we can either step over or step into. And so I'm going to step into, and that makes the difference whether we're trying to step over a function, handle that as one code statement, or step each line of the code, and we want to step each line. So I'm going to essentially equivalent F11, but I'll click the button so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to click next, and it essentially ran that line of code, and we can see our local variables here in our debug. So we can see it created this variable, and it gave it a value, and then it's also got the instruction pointer here. So our next line would be this next statement, and so we'll step, and you see it creates that. And so we'll step through a few statements here and go ahead and let it initialize all those variables. We'll get another one here, total. Let me resize this so we can set watch variables, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to look at the debugger as we go along. So let's do the next step. Okay, and then so the next instruction is going to be interesting, because it's calling our get menu choice function, and so the instruction pointer will jump up there next. And so we'll take that step, and notice it goes to the first step of our function, and then let's step through a few steps here until we get to the choice. Okay, so as it's doing each one of these, it's printing it to our output. And then the next one, it's going to ask us what the choice is, and it's going to stop there because it's waiting for us to answer. And so let's go ahead and give it an answer down here of 1, and I'll hit enter, and then it's going to return that choice. And notice over here our variable list has reduced down to choice because we're looking at the locals for this function, okay, which is different than main, and our choice is 1 right now. So we'll step, and we'll go back out to the main function, and this has yet to execute, so we're going to get that value and assign it to a choice variable in our locals for the main function. Okay, so let's do our next step, and notice choice now appears here, and we passed out the value of 1. The other variable is gone because we've exited that function. Okay, so it's done. And so now we'll go into our menu, we'll step next. So is choice not equal to 0? You'd expect it to go in, and then we're going to do a match on choice, which is 1 right now. So we'll do case 1, and we'll set the price equal to that one. And so we've got price over here. It's set. We're going to get total next. It'll add, it'll get this price and add it to the current total, which is 0. So it should just be that price. So we'll step, and it added that to the total here. And then we're going to call the get menu choice function again. So we'll step that. It goes up, prints each of the menu choices. And then we're going to get input again. And this time we're going to put in a 0 to exit. And we come up here and we're going to return choice. Notice choice is 0 here. And then we're going to go back out. And notice choice here is a different variable. It's 1, right? Because we still have to get the return value from this get menu choice. We haven't executed this line of code yet, although it still is being returned. And then after this line, it's going to set this choice equal to the choice inside the function. So that's just to prove the point of those are two different variables, even though we use the same name. So we probably should have used a different name just for clarity's sake. But variables are local to their function. Okay, so we'll go ahead and step that, and it does change that to 0. So that'll get us out of the while loop. So we'll step to the next step. It goes down here, so we're going to calculate the sales tax. Okay, so we do that, and we've got the tax here. Notice it's got lots of decimals, but we're going to take care of that with this format when we print it out. So we'll do the next step, and so we've got that, and then sales tax, we round it off. Okay, so it's just 141, and then of course the next step, and that's pretty much it for our debug. And I did want to show you one other thing that might be helpful in debugging. Sometimes you have several lines of code that you're trying to troubleshoot and may be a problem, but you still want to run the program. It's not the case here, but I'm going to use these to demonstrate it. So let's say I wanted to get rid of my menu choice here for whatever reason, and so I'm going to highlight all these lines, and then I can toggle these all at the same time. So I could put a comment statement in front of each one, but I'm going to go up here, click on edit, and I'm going to toggle line comment. So I could also do control plus a slash, and so I'm going to put that on, and now I've commented all these lines out. So if I run that now and I put in a choice, notice it did not print all these lines. So if I just want a block of code not to run, I can do a block comment and test out my program. Not super useful here because it's just keeping this from filling up my screen with the menu if I know the function of the program. And then we can do the same thing. We'll highlight a block of code, and we'll go up to edit, and again I can use the control slash to do the same thing. I'm going to uncomment, so it toggles it, comment and uncomment. So if I run it now, I get the whole menu to come up. Okay, and so just a couple of things about debugging that may help understand how the program's running and comment out certain parts that you don't want to run while you're still figuring out the logic or figuring out problems in your program. Okay, and then I'll unset this breakpoint, so I'll just click on it again to unset it, and we'll save any changes that we made. So our get menu choice will be saved, and that is just a quick introduction to using debug to trace through the program.